I am live. I'm getting ready to start a live broadcast. If you're wandering the internet and going, I think I'd like to participate, you want to go to jollyrogerukulele.com and pick up all the resources there. Um, I suppose I better get a microphone here in front of me so you can hear what I'm talking about. Let's see, I need to edit this page. I'm going to go set this up on the website first. So until then, you should know the class doesn't start for 3 or 4 minutes. So if you're finding this recording late, just fast forward 4 or 5 minutes and you should be fine. All right, Monday, that's today, June 8th. Link to join, delete, right click, paste. I'm going to highlight, shift, highlight, link, enter, edit, settings, open a new window, update, scroll up, update, wait patiently while my bomb internet works, and then should be able to view that page, and that should help everybody get logged in here today. Oh boy, what a day. Let's see here. Okay, that's clicking there. And let's go into the right location. And Caleb, oh my goodness sakes, first one in. What are you doing, buddy? I got to get you down here to get your baritone set up, man. We're going to have to figure out a time and a way to do that where it's safe for both of us. Let's get this up and out of the way. I'm going to rattle your speakers a little bit. Hey, Manette, welcome in. Let's make sure that the sound is good. Laurel, let me tender my name. Yes, I want a tenor uke. All right, Laurel, we can hook you up. I know a guy who sells some tenor ukes once in a while. Let's see. Hey, Fran, you are. We'll see. We got your password figured out, and so you figured that you better get involved here in the correct on-time fashion. Lindy, I hear that you and I have to make a date. Megan's been going wild on Instagram, and apparently you're the winner. Let's see. Gail is in. Hey, Gail. I opened up the room a little early today, so I'm not really though, huh? It's 1 o'clock right now, so I guess I thought I was being all early, but apparently not. Let me make sure all of my other windows are closed. Closed. All right, then I can leave open. All right, so that's all. Oh, that's all good. Get rid of that. Let's see. Michael Burke is here. Hey, Burke, what's going on? Yeah, Lenny, I saw you won. So, send me an email. We'll set up a Zoom thing if you want, or whatever you think would whatever you think I could do to help you. You're the winner. Let's see. Hey, Carol, in from the Windy Mountains. Mike's yipping his way through life. Good to see you, Mike. Let's see. Phyllis in from beautiful from upstairs, right, from Canada. Hi, Jacqueline. How are you? Gary and Diane hanging in there, ready for colanders. Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, the spaghetti monster is a real thing. It's a very real thing, and so don't think that I'm just some weirdo writing songs about something that doesn't exist. The spaghetti monster is true, and you can spaghetti colanders play an important role in that world. Let's see. Evelyn, welcome. From Ecuador. How do you say Ecuador? Ecuador in Spanish. Ecuador. Question: are there different tips for learning bar chords? You mentioned that it just happens. Evelyn, every summer during Summer Institute, I do a full-on hardcore bar chord workshop, and we'll be doing that again this summer, probably in the next few weeks, actually. Not this week. and not next week, but possibly the week after. The big thing with bar chords is that I like for you to do a full bar on every bar every time. Like with B flat, we often do it as a partial bar. I like for you to do a full bar on that, because what happens is pretty soon, once you get that bar chord figured out, then you're going to be doing this bar chord. Then you're going to be doing this bar chord. Then you're going to be doing this bar chord. Then you're going to be doing, what are some other bar chords? What are the minors? Let's do this bar chord. That one comes up all the time. See, well, and then you've got this bar chord. This one's a mean one. Okay, that's that shape bar. We also have this bar chord that comes up. This is the one that I don't do a full bar on. But what I like to do with bar chords is, one, those are a process that takes a while to get yourself put together. And so in the meantime, the big message I send for bar chord people is, it's okay to sound terrible. It is okay to sound terrible, because bar chords are very challenging. And luckily with ukulele, they always come around. There comes a day when you can do it and they sound great. But a lot of us, especially, I don't know how old you are, Evelyn, but I have, this knuckle is growing and growing and growing as arthritis starts to settle into my hands. And so a lot of us have to do some minor adjustments. I do a whole workshop on it. I would say, yeah, try to do a full bar every time, and then accept the fact that when you are working on them and learning them, that they're going to sound terrible for a while. I think it's perfectly fine for you to sound terrible. And then the other thing that helps with bar chords, in addition to doing a full bar, is sometimes moving it up slightly or sometimes moving it down slightly can have a big effect on where your knuckles end up hitting the strings in order to get clean quality tones out. What I tell people is, when you're practicing and you're really micromanaging your bar chord, and hey, I want to make this finger this way and this and this and this, and it's going to come out. But when you're playing at speed with other people or just trying to knock a tune out, it is not uncommon for you to have it perfectly in rehearsal, and then all of a sudden you get this when you're actually playing it. And you've got to learn to accept that as you continue to grow. Partially because, frankly, I was just watching Tammany Gardner. She did a live cast over the weekend. I think it was over the weekend. And half of the stuff that she does with bar chords, she's using it as percussion and purposely making them sound dead. So don't think you're playing bar chords badly. Just know you're playing them like Tammany Gardner plays them. And I just don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. That's how I've always said it. But bar chords are a long-term process. And again, stick with me this summer. Evelyn will continue to work on it. I'll give you suggestions as we go through, and hopefully we'll find that place where we can say poke through the challenges of getting those bar chords on correctly. The other thing that's important, Evelyn, is this muscle right here. I actually have a pretty cool bump right here from this muscle that had been built for years of just doing bar chords. And so you really need to build up this hand strength, this muscle here. And one of you guys told me what the name of that muscle, I forgot. But there's a muscle right in here, and you got to build that up, because you're going to have to really crank down on that bar in order to make it sound good. So that's my 3-minute bar chord discussion. And is that, 1, they are hard. 2, it's going to take a while. 3, use a full bar if you possibly can. And 4, accept the fact that they're going to sound terrible for a while. And then they'll come along, though. They'll come along when your hand strength is ready. All right. Phew, that was a lot real fast. Elizabeth, happy day to you. Chris, welcome in. Renee, good to see you. Jerry, coming on in. Leslie is here today. And Karen. Red showed up. Hey, I'm going to give you we're going to mess Spaghetti and Monster up for a couple of you today, maybe. Hey, Terry, welcome in. Brandon's coming in. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. First fret was a killer to push down. Oh, yeah. By the way, yeah, B flat is your thing. This is by far the hardest place to put a bar is on first fret, because you're fighting the nut, right? You really got to squeeze down here. It's much easier down here, right? When we teach little boys electric guitar, we start them on the 5th fret, and we give them what's an F chord on guitar on the 5th fret. And remember, we just teach them how to do it like that. So it's easier further down the fretboard. Let's see. Hey, Patty and Tom are in today. Linda's here finally. Pauline made it in. Sandy, welcome in. Diane. looking for Elvis today in Christine's show. Snow and rain in Bozeman. That's what we love about Mount Montana is that you live in a separate ecosystem to the rest of us. Those and you Canadians, right? You guys are all still getting snow regularly. All right, hey, let's get started. We don't have super hard stuff to do today for a change, and so what I want to do is talk about making it beautiful, right? And so let's first go to My Spaghetti Monster. And with My Spaghetti Monster, guys, I wrote this song years before I started teaching ukulele. And when I started teaching, I thought, geez, this is actually a song that sounds really nice that you can play when you don't know really how to play very well. And so the Spaghetti Monster is real. It is on the internet. Can get your driver's license photo taken with a spaghetti colander on your head if you know about the Spaghetti Monster. And it's a bit of a spoof on religion, but it's actually a kind of a fun community. They like to be naughty, and so they do goofy stuff like that. And so the Spaghetti Monster. If you're bored and you're thinking I want something funny to Google, Google Spaghetti Monster, and you'll see it's a whole thing. The other part about this song is that it's not that hard to play, but it's not meant to set up for chords. It's really not set up that way. It was set up to get the melody in, and then I happened to get in these extra chords, and it turns out you're going to play a major chord, you're going to play a major seventh chord, which is a jazz chord. We don't allow new people to have jazz chords until they've been, around for about 5 years, and then we finally let you have jazz chords. I give it to you right now. Okay. You also have a Hawaiian chord in there, which you don't run across a lot of sixth chords except in Hawaiian music. And we also have a rock power chord sitting here at measure 8. So there's a lot of chord variety in this song, but as you can tell, as you've been looking it through, it's mostly zeros. It's mostly zeros, right? And when we, as ukulele players, especially as newer ukulele players, we really, really want to have those. So I wanted to mention very quickly, I had quite a morning, and I normally wear a white shirt on these broadcasts, and I forgot to bring it with me to the studio today, so I'm wearing a t-shirt today. So I'm dressed like I normally dress when I'm not trying to put on airs, and sorry. So I look like this is what I really look like. So sorry about that. Okay, now let's talk about. Oh, hey, Linda. Let's talk about measure number 1. Okay, measure number 1 is thumb. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 0. Biggest key there is making sure you're hitting the right string when you're a new player. That because your fret tablature is upside down, it can be very, very confusing. And so when you first start, just hitting the right strings is important. So do this: thumb, 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 thumb. Okay. Now, next thing is a 3 on the first string. Okay, and we're just playing the ukulele melody line. So first 2 measures, let's do them together. Ready, play. Oh, 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 3, 3. Next one is, the cue is in the house. Hi, Marilyn. Next one, same exact idea. 0, 0, 0, 0. But instead of a 3 on measure 4, you're going to play 2 2s. 2, 2. And then at measure 5, same thing, 0, 0, 0, 0. And measure 6 is zeros on that first string, 0, 0. Then we're going to go back to the 2, 2, then to the 3, 3. And then we're going to bunny hop over to the 3 on the second string. Okay, so hopefully that's clear on that ukulele melody line, is that you're just picking those 1 notes out, making sure you're on the right string and in the right fret, and then plucking it. That's what we're working on, okay? So let's play just those first 8 measures together, just a straight melody line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 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 3, 3. Oh, 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 oh. 2, oh, 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 2, 3, bunny hop, 3, Okay, that's the nice part about kind of repetitive, right? We just have to move our hands just a tiny bit. Then our other Bozite has arrived. Measure 9, we've got a 1 on the second string, 1, then an open note there on that same string, O, then a 2 on the third string, 2, open, open, and then we go grab this little 3 on the second string, 3, 3. Let's repeat that exact idea again. 1, O, 2, O, 3, 3, and the next measures are almost the same, but just a minor variation. 1, O, 2. Here's the variation. Go to this 3, 3, and then bunny hop to the other 3, 3. That's it. Okay, so if you're new, playing this with your thumb is going to make a whole lot of sense. If you have been around a while, why not be playing it with these two fingers, 3, 2, whatever, however many fingers. You're not going to use this top string, right? So use these 3 fingers, thumb, index, and middle. Try just playing it with those 3 fingers. Okay, all right. From the top, just the melody. 1, 2, ready, play. O, 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 3, 3. O, 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 2, 2. O, 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 2, 3. O, 3. Bunny hop, sorry. 1, O, 2, O, 3, 3. 1, O, 2, O, 3. 3, 1, oh, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so now you know the melody. You got the big idea on the melody, and now we want to go through and we want to jazz it up. We want to fancy it up, and this is where chord melody comes into play, where we're going to keep the melody the same. We're changing nothing about the melody. We're just going to add in some chords underneath there. And if you look through your paper on the tough uke line, where you see those wigglies, you see it's all zeros. Everything else besides the melody is a 0. Okay, and that's because when I was writing this song, I wanted it to be easy. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean it is easy, but it's easier than if you have crazy, as we've been playing on the other levels, 9s and 10s and 7s and all that stuff all over the place. This has a lot of zeros, and we like songs like that. Okay, so from the top, let's just do the first measure, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then you're going to put your 3 on just like you would on the ukulele melody line, but in tough uke, we're going to go ahead and grab our thumb and do the whole strum thing. Now, for those of you guys on next level, if you are doing plucking with your claw, you still want to be able to roll that. Okay? See how fast you can make it go. Okay? That's what you're looking for with that glissando. We want to hear every single one of those notes clearly, every single string clearly, and so we want to get that roll feeling in there. And that's what we're looking for as instrumentalists. It's different when you're singing and strumming and you play down fast, right? When we go down, you're not really listening for the individual tones. You're collectively creating a tone with all 4 strings. That's when we are singing and strumming. We're going up and down as fast as we can. Our hand gets a little blur to it. That's when we're trying to create one massive tone with all 4 strings. But when we do a glissando, we want to separate that just a little bit so we can hear all 4 strings. So a nice slow down strum. And guys, as long as you know me, I will never ever change that. I think that's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's just beautiful hearing those individual strings that make up the chord, kind of one at a time, but following relatively quickly after each other. And you can do it with your thumb. That's usually the easiest. You'll see me do that all the time. And then you'll also, for those of you who are working next level, trying to get complete control over your right hand, you want to get all 4 of those this way. Okay? And sometimes practice them backwards. Not on this song, of course, but just be working on getting your chords to roll with your right hand as well. Okay, so that's measure 2. Let's now play into measures 3 and 4. Ready, play. Oh, 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 oh on the 2. We'll talk about why that's such a beautiful chord and why you shouldn't be allowed to have it yet. Okay, next measure, 5 and 6. Oh, 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 oh. Strum, strum. Let's go back to the 2, back to the 3. And then now, here's the important lesson of the whole, if I teach you nothing else today, you're going to play 0, 0, 3, right? And your thumb is coming down. You want your thumb to rest on that first string physically, like it's jumping into a hammock. That's what happens when you don't rest it. This is what happens when you do. Okay, so we want it just to rest it. We want to actually be holding onto the string so it doesn't accidentally go off. It's called a rest stroke. We're resting our thumb on the string we're not going to play. And again, this will come up in every single tough uke arrangement that you play, is you're going to want to rest our thumb on the string we're not going to play so it doesn't accidentally go off. It also has the happy consequence of the last string you do hit, you have a tendency to hit it a tiny bit harder as you're diving into rest, which helps bring the melody out a little bit. Okay? All right, so that's what's happening at measure 8. Now we go into measure 9. Same as before, we're just playing the melody. 1, 0, 2, 0. Got this little rest stroke again, 0, 0, 3. Now let's do 1, 0, 2, 0 again. 1, 0, 2, 0, little string. Okay, and then last measure, 13 and 14. 1, 0, 2, get your 3. Put it this here, and then a nice strum. Okay, beautiful, beautiful piece of music. Now, before we finish it up, let's get the right attitude about this song, okay? Yeah, it's about a spaghetti monster, which makes it fun, okay? Ukulele's fun. Second of all, it's actually about becoming a Pastafarian, and that we're going to fly through the rainbows with our ukulele. It's just a lovely tune, okay? Words are just brilliant, okay? I don't know who wrote it, but he was great. He's okay. But in this song, you get it. First chord is a C major. Next chord, C major 7th. That beautiful, lush jazz voicing. And that's beautiful. That's a sound. I played piano forever, right? And I hadn't earned my way up into jazz yet. And so that's what's going on there. Just getting a 4th tone into that chord. It sounds really, really sweet. Major 6, you've got this chord. That's when you go listen to Hawaiian music, they have a lot of 6th tones in them, and it's partly because of the ukulele. This is tuned to a 6th, and so it's real easy in ukulele to use those 6th tones to our advantage, and they sound really beautiful in that type of music. And here you got one, okay? And then the last type of chord, measure 8, you have a G/C. Now, normally when you are studying a new song and you see slash notes, you can ignore everything after the slash because that's meant for the bass player. You don't have any bass notes on your ukulele. Even those of you with low G, you don't have any bass notes on your ukulele, so don't think that you do. So everything after a slash is meant for the bass, and you don't have that. Guitars have a bass on them that we use to some extent, but really the bass player should be taking care of that in the band. He should be doing the C. Normally, if we hold a G chord, we hold this, right? Index, middle, ring. If you're branded, you hold index this way. Don't do this, by the way. That's upside down. Index, middle, and ring. Okay, this is how we're doing our G chord. And notice on the G chord, this is supposed to be a 2, right? And when this is on your C string and you hold it here, it becomes a D. So a G chord has a D as its bass. But on the chord in your piece of music, you're going to not have that note there, and you're never going to hit this string. So that's all you're holding. Now you're holding a G chord, but this is a C in the bass, which is not typical of a G chord. Okay. What's cool about this is it's actually a C power chord, okay, because you're playing a G, a G, a C, and another G. And then rock and roll, when we talk about power chords, they only have 2 notes in power chords because it pushes all this really awesome sound into an amplifier that complement each other. So the C and the G are best buddies in real life, and they're flipped upside down in this situation where G is the main note, but C gets along with it real well. So it ends up being a power chord. In ukulele, we don't really care about power chords unless you're trying to sell a book. There's a guy out there selling a book about ukulele power chords. But you still get that very solid one G, C, G. That's a really solid chord. Like, it's not particularly exciting, but it's not going anywhere. It is what it is. And so that's what's going on in measure 8. Okay. Shouldn't it be C/G? No, it shouldn't be. Okay? C with a G in the bass. That's what well, and frankly, on our ukulele, it's in this case, it's actually a G chord. So if I were to sing this, flying through the rainbows with my heart. So it's actually a G chord, but we're going to put a C in the bass. And so you get a little bit different feeling to it. And so it is actually a G chord, Gary. It's for sure a G chord. It's just got a C in the bass. So a C/G would be the opposite of that. Opposite in some sense. In terms of a power chords ranking, it is also a G/C. So because you're taking the D out of the bass is what we would normally have there. Let's see. Oh, hey, Kat. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Barb. Everybody's made it in today. Okay, so let's play it through one more time. Let's do what we can. If you are a next level player and you're working on doing this, that's what I want you to do. But remember, when you get to these glissandos, your goal is to roll them. Okay, don't just clunk them through because that's not what the sheet music's asking for. Okay, from the top, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. My spaghetti monster laying ukulele flying through the rainbows with my heart. Tasty marinara, yummy parmesan, we're Pastafarians. Let's do it one more time. That's a pretty song, by the way. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with this. From the top, a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, play. Obviously, let it ring out. Don't lift your finger off of this until your ukulele is done talking. One of the things I do, and I encourage those, especially those of you guys that are new, ask yourself, what songs do you have memorized? Okay, which song, if you went to a music store and you walked in and you're like, oh my gosh, they got a ukulele on the wall, and you go over, you have to tune it up because they don't tune up ukuleles because they're busy selling stuff that makes them money. And so you get the ukulele tuned up. You got to play a song to see how the ukulele sounds, right? If you're going to go in a music store, or you go to the ukulele shop, even worse, you want to have a song that you can play. You need to have one song memorized, okay? And if you have one song memorized, you're golden, right? You probably get away with that one for a while. But if you don't have a song memorized, memorize this one. This sounds beautiful. It takes advantage of all of your strings. You got multiple chords in there. It's got a lovely melody. You should be able to. It's kind of repetitive, right? Measures 1 and 2 look a whole lot like 3 and 4, like 5 and 6, and measures 9 and 10, 11 and 12, and 13 and 14 are all pretty close to the same thing. So it's a fairly quick memorizer, and it makes every ukulele sound good, and it makes you sound good because you don't have to sing. You just let the ukulele do all the work, and that's how you tell if the ukulele is any good, right? Oh, I'm going to play something instrumental on the ukulele. It's going to sound great. You got a nice selection of chords in there. Everybody who hears that, everybody, come on. There's been no human being on the planet that doesn't just adore this song. And what you want to do is just get where you can just play it without looking at the sheet music. It should take you, if you put your mind to it, you could have it done by the end of today. And then you have your first song memorized. Having one song memorized is important. Okay. And then over time, you're going to find a song that's more meaningful to you, and then you memorize that song. So then you have 2 songs memorized. And then the joke I always make is you only need to have 2 songs memorized, because somebody, when they find out that you're a ukulele player, they'll say, play me something. Okay. You play them Spaghetti Monster. And that's it. They don't want you to play anything else after that. I've never had somebody say, oh, play me something else. That's never going to happen. But we have to force a second song on them, right? You say, well, I want to play you something else. And so you play your second song you have memorized. Nobody, not even your mother, will let you play them the third song on ukulele. So just know that is, I've spent, I've been in this business a little while, and honestly, people love to hear ukulele a song. They're okay with 2, but they're gonna fight you if you try to play 3. So you're in good shape. You don't have to memorize 2 songs. Phyllis was able to keep up. Very nice. Excellent work. So that's the song that I think, if you are newer, this is a fairly interesting song in terms of song structure, in terms of having something that's going to sound really nice that you should be able to play relatively quickly, memorized. You're never going to sound the way you want to sound until you memorize the song. Okay. I can tell you, when you're trying to master music, when you're trying to become that guy that you go watch at on YouTube, or you go to the concert, the music is memorized, right? They don't bring music stands up there. There are a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, musicians memorize the stuff that they do. If you go to the symphony, guess what? That piano player up in front, the whole darn thing, about an hour and a half of music memorized, right? Now, the surrounding group with her, they don't necessarily memorize theirs, but most of them have the music memorized as well. They allow them to have the sheet music in front of them, but for the most part, most professional symphonies certainly have their music memorized as well. It's there for the show, partly. So you want to have a song memorized, and this is it. That's my just long discussion on memorization. The other thing that's not unimportant that you just did, you took some melody, you took some chord, you smashed them together. You're playing chord melody, and that's called finger style out here on YouTube, of the type of music that you're playing. And guys, there's nothing higher than finger style. That's it. That's the fanciest you can get playing ukulele, guitar, any of that stuff. It's all you. You're putting the chords, you're putting the melody in. The whole thing's coming out of your instrument. You're not having to sing if you don't want to. If you like singing, sing. Well, nobody's going to stop you, but you don't have to. And so that's the highest level of instrumental musicianship you can get to. And it all starts with Spaghetti Monster. Okay, so you should feel really confident in spending a little bit of time just really tackling this thing, and I think it will be in great shape. Okay, there's that. Karen says, I already nailed Frere Jacques. Nice. Okay. All right. Oh, did you memorize it? Yeah. Memorize Frere Jacques. The reason you memorize Frere Jacques is not for you. It's to teach somebody else. Okay. So memorizing Frere Jacques is for you passing the torch on, as we say. All right, a couple things. Let's move on to Love Me Tender. In the meantime, as you're pulling over, you're switching from My Spaghetti Monster to Love Me Tender. At home, if you'll put your books in alphabetical order, I don't know of any other better way to do it. All of the songs that I do, I am pretty careful about just keeping them all in alphabetical order, because we're always having to grab for this, that, or the other thing. So just keep your book in alphabetical order. The only thing I keep separate is Christmas music, because I can only stand to do it a certain number of weeks a year, and so I don't want to play that on a regular basis, so that goes in its own book. But all the other songs go into my main book, just in alpha order. Second thing, this week is Elvis week, and I don't know why I picked Elvis week, other than I knew that I could toss it out, and I was getting a little beat up on some other sheet music I was writing, and so I thought, you know what, I know I can get Elvis out, and so we're doing Elvis this week for no other reason than I just needed something a little easier this week than we've been working on, and so that's what we're doing this week. And also, my mom liked Elvis, and my mom was all right, so so we're doing Elvis this week. Then tonight, hopefully, it's 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We're doing Summer Institute, and tonight we're tackling 2 chord songs. In addition to, we're going to have an Elvis song. We're going to study "Can't Stop Falling in Love with You," "Can't Help Falling in Love with You," whatever it's called. Is going to be the higher level song that I give them tonight. In addition, we're going to do Soft Kitty and Simple Gifts. All of those are in the key of F. The key of F always comes along with B flat, so there's a lot of different pieces and parts depending on what level you're playing at that we're going to cover tonight, so please try to make it to that. In addition, we're going to do the C arpeggio and the F arpeggio. So I have 5 songs we're going to get through tonight. All of them... I got one of my favorite. I get this email regularly from students of mine that they've kind of dropped out of the thing, and then they're like, okay, I'm ready to come back. I want to have some good songs to work on. No, you don't. You don't need any good songs to work on. You need skills to put onto whatever song happens to be in front of you at the time. And so we got 5 songs, but they're all built around the same level of different techniques within the same idea. And so it's really about studying the key of F tonight and really getting good at the pieces and parts that make up that key. And I think ukulele players, we're always busy rushing on to the next song and the next song and the next song and the next song, and we're never spending enough time getting where we understand music so that the next song basically feels like the last song. Every song is the same to me anymore, and it's because I understand how they work, right? And I want you to have that same gift. It's just really nice to sit down with a piece of music and just know, I don't know what's in this piece of music, but I know I can do it. Okay. And so that's what Summer Institute's about. So please try to make time tonight. I know 2 ukulele classes in one day is a lot, but especially when I'm in front of you both of the times, but just try to block off a little bit of time. Come to that tonight. It's same stuff we're doing. It's always multi-layered, so it's set up for new people, middle of the road people, more advanced people. There are the super advanced people think they're too smart for it, but some of them show up too. So it's just a good time to get together. Okay, so that's what's going on tonight. Elvis this week, and yeah, that's what we got going on. Hopefully you can join it, stay involved. I'm going to keep pushing, guys. We're going to keep pushing and pushing. New members, those of you who are members to the website, and please become a member if you haven't already. It's $5 for the first week and then $25 a quarter, super cheap. I've got 2 more Disney tunes coming for you for members only right now, and you're going to want both of them. They're really wonderful. One's fun and one is hard, so that'll keep you guys busy a little bit. Let's see what else. Let's see, Francis, I have a board meeting tonight, so I won't be there, but I'll tune in. Yeah. Oh yeah. And always, friends, point is not unimportant. All this gets recorded on YouTube, so if you miss something, come back and look at it. I don't have time to figure out all the accounting of how to keep the haves and the have-nots, right? So everything ends up on YouTube, and then you can come back and take a look at it. So, yeah, I'm president of our condo association, and I had my condo morning today, and so that's why I'm running around crazy, all this stuff, and in the wrong shirt, and the whole thing. All right, love me tender. Elvis was wildly popular at the time that he was doing what he was doing, and clear up until he turned into a bit of a mess at the end of his life. He's a super popular dude, and one of the things he's known for is taking relatively simple songs and turning them into something that people loved, and this is a song that he did that with. It's an older tune, but they changed the words and made it into something, and people were agog with this. And here's the other nice thing about it. It will help you in 2 ways. One, we're going to get solid with a cool move on B flat that you're going to get to work on and try to get it perfect, and get you comfy in the key of F. It's going to get you comfortable with probably doing some right hand activities. And at the end of the day, if you get in trouble with your sweetheart, you just have to sing them this and you are out of trouble. Okay, so grab your ukulele. Let's learn how to get out of trouble. Okay. The workshop tonight will be about an hour. Yeah, about an hour. You'll be in time. You'll be in time for it to go to bed. All right. I went through Starbucks today, and I go through Starbucks every day. I used to work there. I love that place. All right. Love Me Tender. Let's do the chords first. Want to make sure everybody's comfy. If you are a singer, you need to know how to strum and sing, right? So F chord, index finger here, middle finger there. Next chord is going to be a G. To get to G chord, lead with your index finger to here, and then add your middle and ring back on. Okay, that's your G chord. To go from there to C7, lead with your index finger, drops down to here, lose these two guys. There's your C7. And then to get back to F, index finger goes up, middle finger goes there. Okay. When you're switching chords, especially when you're newer, you want to get comfy leading with your index finger, because when you're an old ukulele player and you've been playing a long time, you will notice your index finger leads everywhere. Okay. So just get started being aware of it now so that you can just get over that sooner. Okay. Second, measures 5 through 8 are going to be identical, same exact chord pattern. Here's where things get a little interesting. Measure 9. Okay. You're on an F chord. This is going to come up 1, and you're going to lose this to get to A7. Okay, that's your next chord. To get to D minor, drop your index finger back down, add your middle finger. Notice it's an F, but then you're going to add your ring finger on for D minor. Okay, D minor is one of the beautiful chords in ukulele, by the way. Okay, now the next chord, people sometimes lose their minds when they see it, but don't lose your mind. Just hang on to your mind. You might find it useful down the road. You're hanging out with D minor, just push your ring finger up to there, and now you're on F7. By the way, I still have my mind, and it's not nearly as useful as I wish it was. Okay, so from D minor to F7 is just that little move there. That's all you got to do. D minor, F7, D minor, F7. Okay, and then after F7 is your favorite chord and my favorite chord, B flat. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a full bar on here. I want you to drop your middle finger down. I want you to raise your ring finger up. That's what I want you to do. Okay, that's going to, long term, that's going to do you the most good of anything you can do. You may need to lower your bar a little bit or raise your bar a little bit to get it to sound good. Notice my thumb isn't moving because my thumb is busy hanging out right behind where my middle finger is. Okay, middle finger, thumb hanging out. Can't see it. That's what it's doing. This is when this little weird bumpy muscle right here starts popping up because I'm like, oh, right, tearing after it. When you first start, you're gonna have to squeeze like the dickens. I'm supposed to tell you, you don't need to just squeeze hard enough to make the sound good. Well, in the beginning, that means squeezing like crazy until your hand gets enough strength in it, and then you won't feel like you're squeezing quite as hard. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. However, lots of you have learned B minor with a partial bar, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you doing that. In fact, you may see me sneaking in partial bars on B flats. Okay, just cover 2 here in middle and ring. Okay, that's what's going to happen there. And then I'm going to talk to you tough ukulers when we get there. On tough uke, you're going to have to add your pinky on to that spot right there. Okay, but if you're just singing and strumming, just a plain old B flat, it's going to work just fine. From that B flat to measure 12, you go to F. This is already on the right string then. Here and there. There's your F. Okay. Then you're going to go to a D7 in measure 13. Index finger replaces the middle finger moves down. That's the D7 you need in this one. Most of you guys have figured out there's 2 different shapes on D7. There's lots of different D7s, but the 2 main ones are this one and another one. And the other one's a little harder. Okay. This is the easy D7. After that D7, you drop down to a G. Those 2 guys drop down, add your ring finger. Then you go from the G to the C7, again, leading with your index finger. And then to wrap up, we go to the F. Okay, so that's what we're doing with that. Okay, those are the chords. Brandon asks, my pinky and brain are disconnected still. As it turns out, this thing is going to be so important to you as an instrumental ukulele player. And it's going to fight you all the way along. I was watching, again, I was Tammany Gardner. She's one of these days, I'm going to meet her and I'm going to be that stalker guy, the old man stalker kind of guy. I've been watching her since she was a little girl. She is an incredible player, an incredible person, an incredible composer and thinker about ukulele. And I was watching her in her live cast, and her pinky is just just running like nobody's business. And so, yeah, we're gonna have to do it too. We do it a lot slower than she does, and we do it on a lot easier songs than she does. But it's still super hard. And so, as we were working, just know this pinky. Whenever I've been playing too much and my hand is starting to just get all tight and weird, it's always the pinky's always the first thing to go. It's just what it is, right? So we'll be kind to it as we can. All right. What do you mean by a chord shape? Okay, so when you're thinking about chord shapes, on the paper here it tells you what to do, right? But you want to, as a musician, especially as you become more advanced, this is a shape, right? This is an F. This is an F. And that shape is going to be useful for other things. If we decided to do a bar, we're going to have to switch fingers. I'm still got the F shape, but now I got a bar. I can move my F shape all the way up in here. So when you're doing a B flat, let's put a B flat on. That's your B flat. You're really doing an A shape, but your bar has moved it up one fret. Okay. When we are talking about E7, this is the shape. When I move it up, I got to change fingers, and now it's the E7 shape is movable on the fretboard. So when I talk about chords, a lot of times I don't even, you'll get where you're doing so much advanced chording that you don't necessarily remember the names of everything, but you know that you need to do this shape at this point in the song. And so as I'm memorizing a piece of music, I'm thinking less about the names of everything. I'm thinking about, in Paper Moon, I do this shape, which is, I don't know what the name of that is right off the bat. I probably do, but I got to do this shape. The next shape I have to do is this shape, right? And I don't necessarily have to memorize the names of those. I just have to know in this song, I go from this shape to this shape. Okay. And so when I'm talking about chord shapes, I'm talking about this is what it looks like. And I'm going to memorize where those fingers are on the fretboard and in that particular shape, because these shapes will keep coming up. There's actually only about 10 shapes for all of the majors, all minors, and all sevenths, and all diminished. You get those are the four main categories of chords, by the way. There's only about 10 shapes that you need to know on the ukulele, and we'll be doing a whole class on that in the Barre Chord workshop. So just so you know, the shapes are going to come and be a part of thinking about chords rather than thinking about the name of them, thinking about I go from this shape to this shape. That's F to C7. But really, it's just this shape to this shape. Okay? Vicky, you get 2 for 1 with this song. Also, the tune for old folks orally. Yeah. So this song, actually, that's what they did is they took orally and changed the words. That's what they did. So you're right. You absolutely get a 2 for on this one. All right. Let's go through, sing it real quick. Okay. Grab your chords. Okay, as always, should not be singing, but we are in crazy times in the world right now, and that means that I have to sing over the internet, right? Okay, get your F chord. Next level players, 1, 2, 3, 4. Newer players, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you want to make it sound fast, exciting and fast, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and using this, but don't do that. It's ridiculous. 1, 2, ready, go. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. 2, 3, 4. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. 2, 3, 4. Finish with an F chord. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at. If you were in trouble and you went in with your ukulele and sang that to whoever you were in trouble with, you'd be out of trouble. Okay. Vicky asks, I usually do finger picking accompanying this one. You should, right? Let's do that one time. Those of you who are at that level, who are thinking about this, just pick your 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever. Let's try it that way. 1, 2, ready, play. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, oh my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Okay, so that would be the adding in an arpeggio underneath there. Notice I didn't have to do anything at all differently over here. I just was doing something fancier over here, and all of a sudden I sound a lot more professional. I really know what I'm doing. That's why we talk all the time in my classes about right hand. Okay, this is what everybody gets where they can do this. It's over here where the music comes from, and this is what's going to make you sound much better than if you're just doing this all of the time. Okay, chords. Next one, melody. Those of you guys been around a while, you know what you're doing. If you're new to finger picking, this is a great opportunity to just practice making sure you're on the right string and the right fret. Okay, everything is either a 1, which is always your index finger, a 2, which is always your middle finger, or a 3. Everything, every single note, you want to use either your index finger or your middle finger or your ring finger. Don't complicate it, okay? You'll end up, if your pinky's jumping in there or you're sliding your middle finger up here to second, you're complicating it and it's going to make it harder. Don't be that person. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, oh, 1, 3, 2, 3. 1, oh, 2, oh, 1. Rest, rest, go. Oh, 1, oh, 1, 3, 2, 3. 1, oh, 2, oh, 1. Rest, rest, go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 3, 1, 3, oh. Rest, rest, go. Oh, oh, 1, oh, 3, 2, 3. 1, oh, 2, oh, 1. Okay, let's try it together one more time. Hopefully, you're at a place where you're keeping up with me. If you are absolutely doing tremendous. If you're not quite keeping up with me, you got to think about two things. If you're like, if mostly you're keeping up with me, then you just got to work on those sections where you're struggling. If you're not keeping up at all, then just slow the whole song down even slower and play it at whatever speed you can do it until you're smooth at that speed. And then once you can play it at a slow speed, you can always play it at a faster speed. But until you can play it at a slow speed, you're kidding yourself, right? And that's what a lot of newer players will do. They'll try to play everything way too fast, and they just struggle all of the time. Slow things down until if you have to play it at half speed, do it until your fingers start to drop into those places. Okay, a couple of questions over here. How do you decide whether to pick 3 or 4 strings? Your ears will tell you. So so Christine is asking, hey, should I do this one? Should I do this one? Okay, should I do all 4? Should I do all 3? Your ear usually is going to help you out. Now, for me, I spend most of my time on these bottom 3 strings because this string creates challenges and differences. This instrument's unique in the way we tune it, right? This one is higher than this one in pitch, and so it creates some differences that sometimes using 4 strings makes it more difficult because this note is higher than this one, and if you just use these 3, well, then you eliminate that difficulty. Having said that, this is what makes ukulele fun, is this 4th string. And so depending on the song, something like this is very slow and melodic and really trying to sound like you're in love, right? I'm probably not looking for the fun string, right? So I'm probably going to pick these 3, but you could absolutely try it, and you should try it both ways until you find what makes sense for your ear and what makes sense for you having that. And then why do you shake your uke at the last whole note? So you get some vibration. Can you hear that? I don't know if it comes through the speakers. You get a little bit of vibrato. It's like a fake vibrato. Right? I don't know. Right? It just gives you a little bit of a fancier thing to it at the end. If I was in concert, well, like they used to, if you see ukulele comedians, they always do that, you know, playing it over their head and stuff. And it just gives a little vibrato to it, Karen. So I don't know if I do that on purpose or not. Right? Let's play the melody one more time, and then we're going to run through the tough uke, and then you guys will be ready to go out and be in love. Okay? From the top, just the melody line. If you're not up for melody right now, strum along with the chords. Okay? Chords, ultimately, guys, chords are going to be harder, and playing the melody is going to be easier. So depending on what tradition you come from, depending on what type of previous ukulele training you have, we all, not all of us, but most of us got a ukulele and didn't get very good instruction. And so we think we're supposed to do chords all the time. Chords, it turns out, are way more difficult than playing straight melody. And it just takes a minute to learn how to read tablature. And then you're going to want to play melody all the time. And I have one teacher friend that I'm working with, and she says, you know, it seems like melody would be very thin. And you're like, well, what happens is, yeah, it's kind of thin at first, but once you get that, then it's not a huge stretch to start adding in chords underneath that melody. Whereas if you're only teaching chords, it's a huge problem to teach how to then add in melody, right? And so if we teach this in the correct order, which is melody first and then chords, all of that happens naturally, and you end up with this very sophisticated sounding presentation. And then again, as I say all the time, you can choose to sing or not if you can play your ukulele correctly. Okay, let's play the melody one last time, and then we'll dive into the tough uke. There is something you got to learn about the tough uke. It's kind of a bummer. From the top, 1, 2, ready, go. 01, 01, 3, 2, 3. 1, 0, 2, 0, 1. Go, go, go. 01, 01, 3, 2, 3. 1, 0, 2, 0, 1. Get ready, go. Oh, 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 3, 1, 3, oh, go, go, go. Oh, oh, 1, oh, 3, 2, 3. 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't shake my ukulele that time, Karen, on purpose. I don't know. Am I doing that all the time? All right. That's the melody. Good melody, right? If you have a friend, they play chords, you play melody, and then you got a duet, and you get a trophy at the talent show. So there's that. Now we put it together. That's what you're really here for. Okay. Let's go through. Let's talk about the first 4 measures. Okay. You're going to pluck a 0, and you can pluck 3 strings of that F chord. Make sure you're resting. Don't do this. Right? Don't throw your hand out trying not to hit this. You're going to hit it. You're just not going to play it. Okay, that's you doing that. Lift up that index finger, 2, 0, 0. Put it back down. Now go to an actual G chord. Grab the whole G chord and measure 2, but just play 3 strings of it. And then I don't have to move anything over there. I'm looking like super lazy musician because I'm not doing any work. All the work's happening over here. It sounds amazing, right? Okay, now get 0, 0, 1. It's a little. Notice that your real C7 is here, but the melody note happens here, so you don't get to play this string. So it's 0, 0, 1. Then the 0, 0, 0. Add a 2. All zeros. Then grab your F chord again. Okay. All of my accompaniments, when I'm filling in space, I'm just going to be holding that chord and adding in some melody notes. Okay, some just arpeggio notes. 0, 1, 0. Okay, measures 5 through 8 are the same, so let's play those. 1, 2, ready, play. that lovely A note is leading you into the next section of the song. That's there on purpose. It's don't love me tender. Okay, so it's helping get that music going up into this next register. In this section here, just help me think it through. You got an F chord on, do that twice. Go to your A7, strum that twice. Go back to your D minor, strum that twice. You run your ring finger up here. Okay, and right about now you're thinking, this is a great song. I'm going to sound great. I'm going to memorize this. This thing's going to be awesome. I'm going to be a hero. And that's what you're thinking until the very next measure when everything comes off the rails. Okay, because you got that darn B flat. So let's talk about it. You got your B flat on. I don't care whether you use a partial bar or a full bar. Okay, but you're going to play that first. That's your B flat. I don't care whether you play it this way or this way. But in this case, you've got 1, 2, 3. You got to leave this string open. Your bottom string is open. Okay, so you're not going to be doing a full B flat. You're going to be doing this modified B flat and leaving your first string open. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, that's that cool note there. You're going to take your pinky and you're going to add it on second string, 3rd fret. Okay, it's going to go there. Okay, now take your pinky off and do the same thing, just 3 strings though. Put your pinky back on last time, and then go to your F chord. And then you've got your arpeggio. So that's where the challenge of the song is. You got to be flat. Okay, there's your B flat. And you might do it this way, but in this case, you don't even have to hold it down the bar at all. You're just holding down these 3 strings. Add your pinky, take your pinky off. Okay, add your pinky, and then change the chord to an F. That one measure, if you just to go ahead and memorize that one measure, you got the whole song. Okay, that's the only moment that's just like unpleasantly difficult, and it makes you sort of presses you, sort of forces you to work on your B flat just a little bit to try to get it clean and nice. And it's worth the work because you're going to have B flats coming up in your life. Joyce says B flat kicks my yes, B flat kicks your butt. Now, for those of you guys that are fighting it, I want you to ask yourself, how long have I been playing ukulele? Okay, probably less than a year, probably less than 6 months. If you're fighting B flat, you're probably a relatively new player to this instrument. It's normal. If you don't fight it, the rest of us feel gypped. It's hard, right? That's hard to do, okay? And you're just working on being patient while your hand gets tough enough to do it without that, okay? In the meantime, that's maybe how you'll have to hack your way through it, okay? Just let it be that way. All right, measure 13, we got your 2 F chords. I'm gonna go grab this 1. What's crazy, this note is a B flat, but it's on underneath a D7 chord. It makes no sense. When I used to play this as a medley, I used to play this all the time, and I'd get to this, it'd make me so mad every time because it's kind of hard to finger. Yeah, that's really what's going on there. But your arrangement just has a 1, and then you got the D7. Measure 14, you get to go back to your G chord. You can play the whole measure just by holding your G chord. Measure 15 is the same as the one up above. You're gonna finish that, okay? And then let me give you your memorizer. Okay, we finished that. I want you to go up to the 5, put a bar on 5, and your pinky on 8. 5, 5, 5, 8. 5, 5, 5, 8. That's also an F chord. Okay, and why I like to finish with this one is that your pinky is sitting on that note right there, which happens to be an F. So it has this very nice finishing feel to it. Okay, so that's how I want to finish it. Okay. All right, here we go. Christine's 2 years. She still can't do B flat. That's not true. All right, Christine is trouble. Don't listen to her. I have had one person that for legitimately it took him 3 years before their B flat came in. Okay? Legit, like she worked on it in 3 years. Be patient with yourself on B flat, and also if you can't do it, just play it extra loud, like you mean to play it that way. Okay. Let's see. Phyllis says, for the multiple numbers on Tough Uke, is there a simple way to play them? I'm not entirely sure if I understand the question, Phyllis. What I do know is that the tablature, when you see multiple numbers in there in a row or in a column like that, that means you're going to be strumming either that or plucking multiple strings at once. What I can tell you is long term, the same ones keep popping up over and over. So 201, 201, 201. I don't even think about it anymore. That's an F chord, right? 000 comes up all of the time, and you'll get where those stacked up numbers, you've seen them before a zillion times. It's all the same stuff over and over, and it will sort of just start to happen in front of you. I think you just got to get your reps in. You just got to work on it a little bit, and I think you'll find that it starts to come together. All right, let's play the Tough Uke. Okay, I'm running you over a little bit. I got to get you out of here. 1, 2, ready, play. G chord, C7, O1, O, G chord, two, three, four. That sounds pretty at the end. Okay, and again, just hold on to it. You don't have to do that ending, but it just sounds kind of like nice end to that. All right, so there's your Tough Uke. That's one you could work on. That's another song that's absolutely worth your time to work to put in some energy into. So let's double check questions. Yeah, squeeze like crazy. In the beginning, it does feel like you're having to practically pull your fingers off squeezing on these bar chords, and it's because you're getting stronger, guys. You got to get this muscle together, and then it'll start to come around. Honestly, that have been so helpful. Lots of homes. There you go. You're welcome, Karen. Let's see. Thank you, guys. I had fun. Thanks, guys. I know a lot of you guys got to rush off. So have a wonderful day. Hopefully, I'll see some of you tonight. And go check out the website if you're newer and just go wander through there. I do encourage you to become a member because I got lots of fun stuff that I'm going to continue adding on to the member pages. And so you guys have a wonderful day and keep playing ukulele. I know the world we live in today is way different than the world we lived in January. And we're going to find a way through it. Okay. Have a great day. I'll see all of you hopefully tomorrow or tonight. Let's see who's leaving. All right, Mike, see you tonight. Wonderful. Thanks, Harry. All right, Renee, be good. I'll see you soon. Barbara, I'll see you. Gail, I'll see you tonight. Gail, see you tonight. All right, Jackie, welcome. Have a great day. See Patty and Tom, I'll see you guys tonight. Lindy, send me an email. You're the champion. Lanny was here. Good to see you, buddy. Lanny, we're doing a song this week that you created, the Blue Hawaii. That's your fault. Phyllis, questions and answers. I have a lot of answers. Some of them are even true. Let's see. Chris, have a great day. Jerry, good to see you. Fran, take care of yourself. Carol, keep coming around. See you later. Later. Right? Brandon, this Elvis song sound nice on you. Yeah, it does sound nice, right? It's a beautiful tune. It's absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful when it was orally. It's even better now, right? They fixed it. Pauline, we'll see you later. Leslie, be good. And Vicky, I'll see you tonight. Have a great night, you guys. I'm going to hit end of stream. Sandy, peace.